Ever since obviously Trump won the presidential election for the second time, which has literally made history, mate. You know what I mean? I'm listening to the left and they can't help themselves but bring race and gender into it. They don't seem to understand why most of the country of the United States voted for Trump. They're like, we've got this bloody, Hitler running the country now, blah, blah, blah. This is what propaganda does to people. This is why I feel like mainstream media, especially in the States, like, UK, whatever, don't come after me, they can be bad, but the US, their news is ridiculous. And what they did was basically spread so much propaganda that it's actually put harm. And these people on the left are actually worried. They seem to think he's Hitler. They think that he's going to take all their rights away. And I feel bad for them in a way. But they are also adults. They should question things. They shouldn't just believe. Surely in 2024, I've known since I was probably like 10, mate, that you don't trust everything you hear on the news. You naturally, obviously, when you first start growing up and stuff, you think, the news, this is where we get all the information. Of course we're going to trust them, it's on TV. They're wearing a suit. They're telling us the proper news. They tell us what's wrong and what's right, you know what I mean? But then you realise that it's twisted, and it's not always the case. Especially in the United States, their news is clearly funded by the left, and the way they was speaking of Trump, saying he's Hitler, they're absolutely radical. The left are nuts, because everything they claimed Trump was, which was all bullshit, like it was all just so they could try and win and keep in control, because they were pumping illegal immigrants all over the states into these swing states. And what Elon Musk said, which I think was true, was they was doing this because then eventually they would get their green card or whatever it is, and eventually they would become a US citizen, and then basically what the left would do is give all these benefits to them, and then they would continuously vote blue, and then there would be no more swing states, and it will all be Democrats. Is it Democrats? Democrats, are they the blue? I always get mixed up which one's which, but basically the ones that all the illegal immigrants that came in, that they brought over, they would all support blue all the time. So therefore, no more swing states. And basically, like Elon said, it would constantly be a fixed blue states. And it would be always blue. And they would basically control the elections all the time. And then they're on about removing voter ID. Clearly they want to cheat. Clearly they just want to be completely in charge of the country and become a dictator, which they claimed Trump was a dictator, didn't they? But they were so desperate. It was basically they was fighting for this plan, and they don't realise the power of the people anymore. Like, they honestly believe that, like, years and years ago, people used to watch the news all the time, and most people used to believe and trust in the news. I did when I was really young, but I got older and I got up into an age where there was a lot of independent news sources, even podcasts like Joe Rogan, for instance. And obviously some guests and stuff that go on there, it's just discussion. Some people go on there and they'll claim alien abductions and stuff like that. And obviously that I find interesting, all right? But it doesn't mean I believe everything on there, But when it comes to guests such as politics and like Elon Musk and Summit, and like you hear both sides of the story, they actually interview these people, like Joe Rogan, for instance. He interviews people in the correct way. You don't simply see this on the news anymore. It's always biased, it's always one side, it's always lies, it's always propaganda. Like comparing, basically Trump did a rally at, I don't know what place it was, but it was apparently a place where Hitler went, back in World War II days before. I think he did something in the United States. He went there, it was before the war started, I'm assuming, because obviously, yeah. But he went to this certain place in the United States, and Trump obviously did a rally there, and so did so many other people, but then they started comparing it to Hitler, and it's just crazy. And then all this propaganda has made the left go absolutely insane in recent days. Like, they're all online saying, look, basically all women's rights are gonna go, Trump's this, Trump's that, oh my god, as if they've let a bloody criminal run as president, how can they let Hitler be in charge? It's just like, have you heard yourself? Do you ever question your own party? Do you ever sit there and think, why did he win? How can someone that's Hitler win? How can someone that's this evil, this bloody corrupt, how can he win? They don't question it. If it was very close, they might think, he's still this person, but some people are just against it. But the fact that he won in a landslide tells you something about your own party, doesn't it? And I think if you're on the left and you're in the United States, yeah, and you're always about Kamala, maybe you've always voted blue, so you just vote no matter what. You got to realise as well, if you stood by Democrats, is it Democrats, the blue ones? I'm not sure. If you stood by blue, mate, alright, you know, they've changed over the years. You know, there's been so many people that were on the blue side, and they've changed over the years because they no longer stand by freedom of speech, they no longer stand by, you know, the freedoms of American people. Even the Kennedy guy, you know, even he used to be on the blue, you know, because back in the day, they was all about freedoms and, like, exposing truth and the CIA and whatnot, you know, and nowadays they don't stand for that. They stand for censorship, control, wars, raising taxes. They are so, like, distanced from the people, and they're so, like, kind of selfish in their own little way of perspective and stuff, and they propagandize on the news that they're the heroes and Trump's the Hitler, Trump's the threat to democracy, blah 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 blah. It's like, no, you are everything you claim Trump is, you are. And it was crazy to see, because like before the election and stuff, I was seeing a few things on YouTube where people go around asking people like, who do you think's gonna win, who do you want to win, and a lot of people saying Trump because of the economy. They was actually giving valid points, but when it came to the Kamala, it was just like, because she should be the first female president. It's just like, do you know what, right, after Trump, yeah, if a woman goes for presidency and she stands for everything that is great for a country, I'll be like, mate, you know what, people should be voting for her, you know what I mean? But so far, the women that have run for presidency have been about control, censorship, lying, you know, propaganda. They've all been on the wrong side of history, mate. They've all been the fucking demonic ones, you know what I mean? And it's just like, nah. And then they'll say, it's because she's a woman, it's because she's an Indian woman that, well, they say black, but they say because she's an Indian woman, that's the reason why she didn't win. And it's just like, no, it's nothing to do with that. It's because she has no accomplishment. She's all about war, raising taxes. She's all about women and men and women's sports. She's got Liz Cheney by her side, which is a warmonger. Like, it's all bad. And she's been in office about 3-4 years, whatever it was, with Biden, and then she even admitted she was part of the decision making, and even he said that she was part of the decision making, and she did nothing. Nothing was done, and she said she would not have changed anything different from Biden. And the reason why no one liked Biden is because the decisions he made. She could have said, when they said, oh, what sort of things would you do different? You know, she could have easily just said, right, I'm going to strengthen the border. You know, I realised that was a wrong thing to do. I apologise to the people. You know, we just wanted diversity. We wanted people, you know, I don't know. She could have made some crap up. Realistically, it's because they wanted probably to cheat the elections, bring them in the swing states, give them benefits. But she could have lied, and maybe, as she does best, and just said, you know, we wanted diversity, we wanted people to have a chance, blah, 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 blah. But I realised it was wrong. I didn't realise there was so many, you know, it brought so much harm to the people. So I'm going to change that. I'm going to strengthen the border. And then she could have said about the economy and stuff. She said she's going to really focus and tackle the economy and open more businesses. And she's really going to start it all up. But she didn't. She just said, I have nothing that comes to mind that will change. Like, and she expects to win. You know what I mean? And I find the problem is the people that wanted Kamala to win, it was either because they've always been blue, or it's because she was a woman. They're bringing race and gender into it, and it's just like, the fate of your country is on the line, and you're only voting because she's a woman. Things that we didn't even choose when we came into life. Like, I'm a guy, I'm a man, you know? I don't identify as anything else, you know? I'm just a man. That's who I am. But you don't vote me into something just because I'm a man. Like, you bring me in, or if I'm going to win something, it's based on what I have to offer, what I'm going to bring to the table, you know what I mean? Not just because, like, she has no accomplishments. Trump, he's run before and he did well. The only reason it knocked him off was because of COVID, and I think the left just jumped in and thought this is the opportunity to kick him out so we can take control again. Like, I think every country did bad when it came to COVID. Like, the UK Prime Minister, he did bad. Everyone seemed to get a big backlash when it comes to whoever was running the country. Always got a backlash when it came to COVID, and I don't think it was their fault, really. You know, it was something that was going on. Whether it was from a lab or not, I do not know. But, you know, I think, you know, it was something new, you know, and I don't blame no president or prime minister for whatever happened in that. But I don't know. Let me know down in the comments what you think, and if you've seen how the left have reacted, because to me, it's not like they've been logical about it. They're not questioning, they're not reflecting, thinking, okay, well, we need to think about this. They're just blaming gender and race, and they're just pulling the same cards, and it's just like, you need to stop thinking. Most America voted red. There's got to be a reason for that, and you've got to find out why. And the moment you find out why, you'll wake up. You'll realise that it was all propaganda, all lies. The left are corrupt. They're all about wars. They're all about lying. Propaganda, using the news as propaganda, mate. And it needs to stop. You know, at the end of the day, And people say, why are you getting involved? You're from the UK. But at the end of the day, if America go to war and they start World War III, the UK will get involved. So realistically, the left were a threat to the whole world because of the way they were. And yeah, so let me know down in the comments what you think. Bye.